Hey guys, it's Tony Suits with Backwoods Biker Magazine and Wood Tramp Outdoors again. This is part 5 of my personal blades, and it happens to cover a subject that people have been asking me about for a long time. What axes do I have in my personal possession? Hang tight, you'll see those. Alright guys, welcome back. I have, not a huge selection of axes like I do, let's say, my primary knives. But I have more than probably most do. It's not a sickness or a fetish or anything like that. I believe on having the proper tool for the proper job. And an axe happens to be one of those tools that you need to have the right axe for the right job, or number one, you're not going to get the job done in an efficient way, or number two, you might even end up hurting yourself if you're not careful. So with that being said, let me just show you these axes that I regularly use. First of all, let's talk about what I use around the camp, or if I'm going out for let's say a day hike, something like that. I got these 3 axes I have in front of me right now, and I'll hold them up for you, that are something I would put in a day pack, in a scout pack where I'm going out for a 3-day scout for, scouting a hunting area, doing whatever I'm doing. That's what these 3 axes are for. In other words, I'm not going out to fill a tree. I'm not going out to buck a bunch of wood that I'm going to have for an extended period of time. So let's look at the first one. This happens to be from Condor. This is the Greenland axe. This is the smaller Greenland axe that they carry. Condor has taken a lot of hits, a lot of criticism, but I tell you what, I have found out that they have really stepped up their game in the last 5 years. They've improved their quality, they've improved their production, they've improved their customer service, everything across the board, and that only includes their axes but also their knives. But this is a handy little axe that I take with me anytime that I'm going out for a day trip or a 2 or 3 day jaunt out into the bush. And I use this around the campsite to be able to process wood. I can process game with this, if I'm quartering up a rabbit or a squirrel or something like that. It is made from I would say this is probably not the highest quality of steel, but it's not the cheapest either. It holds a good edge once you get it sharp. The wood handles are made out of hickory, and like all my handles, I sand all my handles down and then I coat them in bush butter from Wood Tramp Outdoors. That's the first one. That's under $100. As a matter of fact, that's under $75, I believe. Next one is also from Condor. This was a new offering in 2020, or 2019 rather, and this is called the campsite axe. And as you can see, that the head and the shaft, the tang, are all one, and it kind of goes down to a small little rat tail here. I don't know how big that is because it's covered up in this rubberized handle. This is around $100 from Condor. What I like about this is the same thing that I like out of the Greenland. This happens to be a little heavier, so I can do a little more with it, but not much because of the size of it. Again, I wouldn't try to take down a 4 or 5 inch tree with this because of the simple fact that I'd be going at it all day long. And this steel that they use in these axes aren't really made for that. But it's good if you want just an axe to put in your backpack or in your saddle bag or wherever. This is a great little axe for that. The next one that I have is kind of like the big brother in this category. This happens to be made by Winkler Knives. Daniel Winkler is one of the premier builders in the U.S. around the world right now. He does a lot of tactical stuff. Got in the business by doing reenactment blades. Last of the Mohicans, the movie, all those blades are by Daniel Winkler. But I reached out to Daniel and said, hey, look, we'd like to see one of your axes, but we want it to be a tactical slash bush axe. And he submitted this particular axe. And when I got this, I thought, man, this is awesome. It is very heavy duty. The shaft on the up near the head is almost 3/8 of an inch, maybe a little more than 3/8 of an inch. And it goes down to about a 1/4 inch down on this end, maybe a little bit more than a 1/4 of an inch. Got a nice exposed pommel down here. There's a pole on this for driving stakes or doing it whatever you need to do here. The scales are full micarta, and it's nice heavy axe. Again, you're not going to chop down a 6-inch tree with this. It's not made for that. It's made for smaller bushcrafting tasks or for some tactical stuff too. But we've enjoyed this axe since we've had this. Matter of fact, it was the axe of the year, I think, or tactical axe of the year in 2018, if I remember right. But this is a nice one here. Next one, it's kind of in a category by itself, but people ask me about tomahawks. I have several, and this one happens to be from Colonial Knife Corporation, and it is probably on the low end. I think this is around $250, $260. I mean, that's pricey for a tomahawk for sure, but I've got tomahawks sitting on my shelf that are $600, $700, and they do not perform as well as this particular guy does. The size of it, the weight of it, the performance of it, this is my favorite go-to tomahawk that will go in my saddlebag, rides in my truck with me sometimes, just depends on where I'm going, what I'm doing. You know, my winter go bag, I've always got a tomahawk in it, you know, so that's a nice little tomahawk right there. That's number 4. And then number 5, let's talk about this double-bitted axe here. This is one that we've used very little over the last 6 months since we've had this, because we were deciding if we were going to modify it or not. But this is a double bit axe, the Michigan double bit from Condor. The reason that I have this particular axe is because I'm a firm believer that if you're going to be doing some clearing and processing, you need to either carry 2 axes or you can carry 1 axe. One blade you designate for roughing out, the other blade you designate for finer work. That's exactly what our forefathers did when they designed this axe. They were clearing trails through the eastern woodlands on their way out to the west, and one blade was designed to chop out roots that would hit sand and rocks and just whatever was there, and then this side would be able to clear out in a more clean way, you know, clean up branches or whatever. Then when they'd get back to camp at night, they would just go ahead and sharpen them both up again, you know, and take it back out. As I said, I'm really considering modifying this because for the size of the double bit here, see how with my hand, it's about the size of my hand, which is kind of on the small side for a double bit. And this handle length is more designed for a head that's bigger. So we're talking about cutting this down. We're figuring out or not. We may cut it down, or we may just go ahead and rehang the axe on the appropriate size handle. But you know, Condor does a great job with all their axes these days. They're not the same company that they were several years ago. All right, this axe I want to show you right here is by far my favorite axe. This is a generalized all-around axe. It is called the Farm Axe, and it is made by a young man out in North Carolina. His name is Liam Hoffman. And I believe he's either 21 or 22 years old. And when I first saw his axe, I was, you know, trying to think, who is Liam Hoffman? All the axe makers that I've met and I've communicated with, I don't even know who this guy is, you know. And come to find out, he's just a kid, you know. And you know, Liam, don't be taking that as an insult, because what I'm trying to do is give you the ultimate compliment. Liam is at the top of the game. There are men that have been doing this for years that they point to him and say, that guy has got what it takes to be a great bladesmith, a great axe builder. I can't remember the type of steel that he uses, but it is a premium, high quality steel that takes an edge, holds an edge. I have never ever had to sharpen this other than just a little bit of a puck, and I have processed a lot of wood with this. Now, again, it's called the farm axe, and you can see it's not real long, but I would say it's around 20, maybe 22 inches, something like that. Maybe not that quite that long, maybe 20. And it weighs about 2 pounds, 2.5 pounds, something like that. Nice lanyard hole on it that I haven't put a lanyard yet, shame on me, but the only thing I've had to do is I've sanded down the handles. I've put bush butter on it from Wood Tramp Outdoors to be able to condition that, you know, for a long time. And I do keep bush butter on all my blades when I'm not using them as well. But this was the axe of the year for 2019, and good reasons for it, man. I mean, you could take down probably up to an 8-inch tree with this. You're going to be working a little bit because of the shortness of the handle. But what the handle lacks in, the head makes up for it. I mean, it is everything you need in an all-around axe. If there was one axe to take out and leave all the others at home, it's this one by Liam Hoffman. Okay? Then, last but not least, if I am truly felling trees, if that's what I'm going out to do, is to do some clearing, got to take down some tall trees, or trees that are 8 inches or bigger, or 6 inches or bigger, then I take with me this guy from Sweden. It is the Holzbrook American axe, the Dave Canterbury model. We have had this for probably 4 years, I think, and I have brought down some trees. This thing will kick chips everywhere, and it looks like it's never even been used, but it has, believe me. It has worked out in the rain. I worried about it rusting. It didn't rust. Because like I said, when I get them home, you know, I clean them up and I put bush butter all over them. They're kind of sticky from that, but they won't rust. And again, the only thing I did with this handle is I sanded all the lacquer, whatever it was, off, and then I treated it with bush butter, and it's developing a nice patina on it, you know. So, you know, I recommend this axe. They make this, their forge they use is over 400 years old. Those guys know what they're doing at Holzbrook, you know. So those are my axes that I have, and I hope that answered your questions. You know, if you're going to go out and get one, you know, if you can afford one from Liam Hoffman, that's it. If you can, not everybody can, you know, check out the axes from Condor. They're very budget friendly. They've got a great customer service. They stand by their product. They're not the same company they were 10 years ago, you know. So I hope all that helps, and hopefully soon we'll be past this COVID-19 thing. Everybody can get back out in the bush and enjoy themselves. But until next time, hit the like button, share button, and become a subscriber, you know. And when you do, we're going to enter you into our monthly giveaways, and never know, we may end up giving you one of these axes. So until next time, you guys ride free, you live free, and as always, you be safe out there.